little thingy here.
Got it.
I get to push
Okay,
it.
we'll see.
We are live. We are live. We are live. We are live with the Cowsills with
Hello.
Paul. Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
see, now I get this weird thing going on my, oh God. You know, I used to have a crew. Do you guys have a crew doing your podcast?
Oh,
Yeah, you're looking at them.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. This is hard to
Well,
get all the elements, right?
But I have to
Yes.
acknowledge the answer to your question. After we've taped it, yes, we have two market media in New York that edit it and put the music.
Yeah,
in.
we don't edit and stuff. Do
We
you
do
edit
have-
yours?
Oh, no, because we're live, Susan. There's no net here.
Erg. I gotta watch it then. Thanks for
There's-
reminding me.
Yeah, there's no net here. So, but I used to have an editor and do all of that and put music in, and now it's just is what it is. But so when you do your podcast, you're
Yes,
in
ma'am.
3 different locations. Don't
Mhm.
ma'am me. It makes me feel very old. Please call me Miss. No. Anyway, you're in 3 different locations. Who's Paul? You're the one who's like hosting the thing, right?
no,
Oh,
I'm
you're
not
I
a
think
hoster.
Bob's hosting.
I have the host.
Awesome.
I have the host computer. I send out the invites. I send the episode to New York. I do all that.
So
What
have
are
you had
doing,
any?
Paul?
So have you
You
had
like
anything?
Ray Charles.
Oh,
When
Go
I
ahead.
can't slam my desk. Have you had anything screw up? Well, you're not live, so you can edit it out.
Oh, right. We can edit anything out. In fact, we get calls from guests. Hey, I didn't really mean to say, we can handle that.
well, we were with Bill Medley and we didn't have the tape running for a good long time. And then we had to stop and, ask Bill to do it all over again.
Which
And there's
it was
nothing
COVID.
like
It was COVID time and he had absolutely nothing else to do. He was just, you guys, we can do this 3 more times. Where are you going? Where am I going? Nowhere.
Yeah.
but there's nothing like, answering the question twice because it's so fresh that way. And
Yeah.
you are rocking, Paul.
Yeah, he's got a little Ray Charles going on
You're
there.
like
You're moving and
Stevie
grooving.
Wonder,
Listen, when we were kids and we'd go out to eat, he always did this thing with his leg. He'd just like get it going and then the tables would just shake and my mother would just be, Paul, everybody's
remember that.
glasses and water and milk.
And mom would go, wow. And she didn't have to finish the sentence. The leg stopped.
And I would like to acknowledge, are we visual as well?
You are visual. We
Okay,
are
I
visual.
want to say how fun it is that Polly, and I know you don't know this, but when you're talking, you look
Yeah.
like one of those Kung Fu movies, what's dubbed in.
That's Central Oregon.
Yeah, you have Central Oregon dubbing going on. You look
Wait.
like a what's that guy, Jackie Chang movie?
Are
It's
you
like
ta-
this. It's like this. Hey, Joe.
Pretty much.
No, it's not quite that bad.
So what's
are
new,
you-
Vic?
All right, let's talk about, I haven't seen, all right. Bob did Women Who Ride, did the thing in my living room. And to this day, Bob, I send you emails all the time. The most hits of any video I have ever put up. And he did the songs without you guys. But the highlight of the thing was when he started doing The Rain in the Park and other things, 60 women started singing the chorus with him, and
Oh,
unbeknownst to him. And,
And Bob loves that.
And it kind of freaked him out. He just stopped singing. He just
Well,
stopped.
I went, I'm alone, Paul. You know what it's like. Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, here we go. Rain in the Park. That's like, hey, Brian Wilson, sing Good Vibrations with me.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So I go, as soon as I went, and I knew, 60 women went, I know. Whoa.
It was pretty
That's
much.
funny.
It was, but to this day, like every day I get comments on that video because you guys are so beloved. You know that because you go when I put up that you guys were going to do the show today, I started getting like these I could tell the women were crying when they were writing to me. They get so emotional. And Bob knows this about me, but Susan and Paul, you don't, that I was a little girl in the Bronx and your posters were all over my bedroom, and you guys were the same age as Barry was actually the closest in age to me. And so all these years later to have gone to the Fox and Hounds and hound and see you guys and then have
You found Bob down there.
and you too, you were there, and John was playing with you guys that night actually too.
You get one of the fun nights, family nights.
It was a really amazing night.
So,
And
so were you living where you were living in New York when we were living in New York City?
I was there before you when you were still in Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
But then when you came to New York, yeah, I was still
Oh,
there.
cool.
But I was a kid like you were a kid.
Yes.
there were the Monkees and there were the Beatles, and that was all huge. And Mickey and Mike and have become friends, and Mike. But anyway, do you know what happened today? I don't want to talk about this till the end of the show.
Yeah,
Because
I do. We don't need to.
We'll talk about this at the end of the show. We'll acknowledge. So, but where was I going with this? You guys were the thing. You guys were the thing because you were kids like us. And so it was different than anybody else. And so the people who love you, which are gazillions, love you in a very profound way because we feel like we grew up with you.
So
Literally, we did, right?
We out-Beatled and out-monkeyed in your world.
Look, the Beatles was a different thing, and it was a little bit after. I can't compare and contrast with the Beatles because that was like a whole different thing.
It is really because the Beatles was hysteria, and it was new music, new this, new that. But what we were to you guys, we were the same little kids.
That's right.
That you were. Where Paul McCartney, he might have been 18 or 19, but they seemed old to me.
You say, oh God, those guys.
So I'm thinking that our fans, being that they grew up with us, makes us even closer or tighter as a group of people. You know what I mean?
This is what I'm saying. Your fans are different because we literally were peers.
Yeah, that's different. That's a unique and unto itself situation.
Totally. Yep. And also all the teen magazines and, all that stuff that happened. But I want to talk to you about how all that came to be. But what I want to talk to you about first is because we just are going through COVID. And I don't say we're over COVID because I don't think we're over COVID. I think there's still COVID. But how did you guys fare? I know there wasn't a Happy Together tour the first year of COVID, right? But then they did have one.
We had a little mini half a tour.
You did? The very first?
No, the second one.
The second.
But that wasn't a real tour either.
We skipped a whole summer, and then the next summer we did August. Right. And that was an adventure. It was weird. It was very eerie. You know what it was like back then.
Well, did you guys did you not do meet and greets?
Correct.
Canceled meet and greets.
Which had to be really hard for your fans.
Yes.
It was really hard for our fans, and it was really hard on us because we've been going out and talking to our fans since we were kids.
Yeah.
And so that felt really unnatural. And then though, what started happening was people were getting upset. And then that was freaking me out because they're getting mad at me because COVID, and I was like, it was difficult because these are people we want to engage with.
Of course.
And when we can't, it's already a drag. And then for you to be mad at me because I'm really bummed, I'm like, Jesus, get it. Like,
So,
the meet and greets though are back. And we just came off of the road in the last month. We did 4 shows or something, and we had meet and greets, and it was great.
Yeah, we greeted.
Wonderful. So it was
okay. So do you get it? Are you at all COVID crazy? Does it concern you to be up close and personal with your family? Are you at all concerned with COVID at all?
No.
Yeah, I'm just cautious. What I am is across the board, no longer as lackadaisical about shaking hands and hugging, period. And I wash my hands more, period, because it brought me hyper awareness to all the other crap that's out there. So no, I am definitely not in the big, I'm going to die from COVID thing, but I am definitely way more aware.
Mm-hmm. And I have 5 shots in me. So I am so juiced up. I don't believe I'm going to get it. And I've never had it. Everybody around me has had it.
All right. I'm knocking on wood and I'm sitting through my face.
Gosh, I've got a cough and I've got a fever.
Now, I, like Paul, I've been boosted and I've gotten the vaccinated, but I also got COVID. So I'm antibodied to the max, and I'll be happy to meet anybody out there. And if you're uncomfortable with me being unmasked or something, I carry a mask. I don't care.
Oh, and here's the other thing though, too, is that it was a mandate on our tour. And so we couldn't have if we wanted to. And then some people break the rule, and then everybody comes back. Oh, I mean, I'm glad it's over. Meet and greets are back. The rest of it was BS.
A quick brief history. See, in the old days, you didn't have meet and greets. So in the old days,
Wait, in the old days, you didn't?
They weren't called meet and greet.
No, not. Let me explain it.
Okay.
No meet and greets. You didn't sell merchandise. We had a program people bought on the way into
Right.
the auditorium. They could buy for $50. But at the end of every show, we go out and sit on the front of the stage and can be accessible and visited that way. That was our young youthful meetings. Now, when we got on the Happy Together tour, there was this time between the end of the show and leaving, like an hour and a half. We started kind of just going to the fence instead of the end of the stage and meeting people at the Happy Together audiences. They come up to the fence and we'd visit and talk. And then of course we learned about the formal meet and greets, because the first one we were supposed to have when we were new back again, didn't know about selling merchandise. We sat at an empty table with 3 other groups while they're selling merch, and people asking, "Where's your stuff? Where's your stuff?" What's the, we're coming from the age of, you charge for an autograph? We would never charge for an that kind of thing.
Which
right.
Okay,
so meet and greets are back, and you're enjoying it. Is it ever a drag for you guys to be so beloved? I mean, is it?
No, we love doing it. This is, it's easy to do, and so.
But I don't mean when you're out on tour and it's going to happen. I mean when it just happens in life. And
no, it's fun. I was going to say the meet and greets, if I could have 10 minutes before a meet and greet, I would love them. But that you have to run and do it right away, and you can't blow dry your hair, and you can't stop for a sec. That's the only part I don't like about them. But other than that, they're amazing.
And I see. You're talking about the overall thing, right?
The overall thing about being a Cowsill, and
it never gets tiring. It never gets as an imposition. We feel grateful, we feel honored, we feel all those, and we have never felt anything else.
Yeah, no.
It is not.
It's really obvious in the way your fans feel, how your fans feel about you.
We love those guys.
And it all started with our dad making sure we were out on that proscenium, out on the edge of that stage at the end of the evening, signing stuff for everybody that was there. There was nobody ever left out. We never left before we were done with that, you know. But I did want to mention, we have not yet gotten the contract from Happy Together, because they may very well still be having this COVID bubble, no meet and greets.
Yeah, we don't know if we can meet and greet on Happy Together, so don't everybody get all excited.
Wow.
All he's saying, we don't know about their policy yet.
Every March,
because there's
a letter, and they put in there the specifics, and it's
right.
We haven't gotten our letter yet to tell us, so we can't tell the gang.
No.
Right.
But it is a full tour this summer.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did 57 cities last summer. But listen,
Gary Puckett is 81.
It's not just.
I'm just saying we have a lot of old people out there with us. So Happy Together is going to be a little more rigid than everybody else.
So what we can say is that if you're coming just to a Cowsill concert, we're available as the postman. But if we're Happy Together, it'll be whatever that protocol is.
Well, I get, and Chuck Negron, doesn't he go with he has oxygen, right?
Yeah.
The last time Chucky went out with us, they had oxygen because during his set, his pulse ox was going down. And so they had to figure out a way to keep that oxygen going through his 20 minutes, and they just wired it through his eyeglasses. It was pretty cool.
He's been wearing glasses with oxygen in his nose for years now. And our sound guy, JC Gerard, designed a cord to go with it. So the cord that's the hose, when it comes out of Chuck's coat, it looks like a guitar cord.
When I get a hose through my nose, when I need a hose through my nose, I'm going to the beach.
You're gonna park it? Chucky's a chief, though. Chuck's the chief.
Yeah, but he still sounds exactly the same. I saw you guys a few years. He still sounds exactly the same. It's crazy.
He's a miracle man.
Vicki, during the day on the Happy Together tour, you go, gee, I hope he's okay. He breathes heavy, and it takes him a long time to navigate. But then the show comes, and none of us can figure it out. But that guy goes out and now sings everybody in the show, and we can't figure it out.
No, we can't.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so there
are a lung or something, but anyway.
There are Cowsill shows though coming up that people can go to. Okay, so tell us some show. I know you're going to be in Vegas on January 27th
at the Golden Nut.
I
you're
might
gonna
have
be
to
on the
come. I might have to
happy,
come up there for that.
Do it, Vicki.
I think I might have to do this. Okay. And so, all right. So tell me where else people
Flower
can.
Power Cruise, March 23rd through the 30th.
Lots
now
of
the
meeting and greeting.
So that's up close and very personal. Did you
Oh,
guys
yeah, baby.
did you did this last year too? COVID-ish.
We've done it on every cruise that ever happens for us. And we've done a lot of cruises in the last decade. And yes, we are those people that do not hide in our cabins. We come out, we meet and greet people. If we're eating and that people come up to us and we want to talk, we tell them, have a seat. I always let them know, look,
Wow.
I'm continue eating. And so, it all works out just great. And we have just a great time doing that.
That is,
Yeah.
so your dad, who lots of issues, but it sounds like, well, there was clearly a lot of brilliance there. And certainly
that cat was smart as he could be for a dropout. And yeah, he had a lot going on for him. He really blew it. I mean, he did. He was good looking. He was smart. He wasn't. Yeah.
He had moxie and he was street smart.
Street smart.
And that can take you a long way, but eventually that street smart's going to get beat up by the Harvard guy.
Do you think so? I'm not always sure that the Harvard guy wins that one.
Well, I saw it happen.
His street smarts brought us, and we all admit it, his attitude, my way or the highway, and my kids can do that. We're not listening to you. We're right. Took us right to the top. But like Paul said, you were on the street. Now you're on Park Avenue. And you've got to change. You've got to figure out how to stay up there. And his street smarts, they're not going to work anymore. It brought it all tumbling down 5 or 6 years, 7 years later. I mean, it's a classic.
And you have a lot of emotional immaturity and ignorance on top of it, and pour a gallon of whiskey on it, and boom.
Boom. Look at those. Our parents were in their 30s, you guys, when they were in the heyday.
Crazy.
Millions of bucks.
They were children.
Okay, so Paul, I don't think I know the answer to this question that I am about to ask you.
I'm super
Why
excited.
weren't you in because when I first became aware of you guys, you weren't there.
Well, I was there. I was right on the corner of that stage, protecting everybody who was on the stage. And that's how it went. Vicki, everybody in our family was in the band the whole time. The band, you can call it the band, but this was a family movement. Nobody was going to be going anywhere alone. Everybody had to follow the pack. So whatever my dad said was going, and so you had to always be adjusted. But listen, me and Richard, we were always in the band. It was never like. I was going to say,
was Richard there?
Yeah, he was on the right side of the corner of the stage. The camera just never widened up enough to see what was really happening here. And then as we were leaving and we're going on the road, well, I always took care of Susan. And so Susan was always leaving now. And I went, hey, man, I got to get into this, but I was in the band in 1967. So, I was on stage. And
Paul made it onto the stage. Richard did not, because he didn't
before I was in the recording company, a recording booth and all that. I never felt that way. I know everybody goes, wow, you weren't in the band. Dude, each one of us, including John, there was Bill and Bob first. And man, they were doing it and they were beautiful. Then they added Barry. Okay. And then, wow, they're happy. They got this drummer kid. It's really great. And then the Beatles come out. Well, they have 4. They need 4. So they add John. But this is all happening in months. And then Susan and Susan and Mom now join it. And they do Ed Sullivan. And then I come musically into it a week after we did Ed Sullivan.
I mean, it was a week after Ed Sullivan? Really?
Yeah, that's how.
But he was out on the road. No, you didn't see me and Paul till We Can Fly. But we were there.
So I want to know, Susan. So you're a little bitty little girl.
Indeed.
How does that moment happen that you are now on the stage? You're now
pretty much. I mean, I think it's fair to say that I worked the programs pretty hard since I was about 6 with my brother Bill, negotiating, trying to get, because I really wanted to sing with everyone. I knew I could do it, and it was freaking fun. And I wanted to do anything they wanted, anything they did, I had to do. So and Bill was just like, it's not about just because you have to be able to do it, and you cannot sing yet. And I'm like, Okay, he goes, so work on holding the tune and you're cute. We're not just because we're kids. It's not like, because I'm listening, I hear it. Look how cute they are. Well, I'm cute too, damn it. And let me go with you. And he was like, yeah, no, there's an element of talent that must actually be here. And Billy monitored it. And he pretty much heard me singing in the car next to him one day to a monkey song and then went, hey, And so I took that cue and I had to audition and I did and I got in.
You had
and I did the same thing. And yeah, we all had to audition, and it's like,
wait, and who was the arbiter? Was it your father or was it
No,
Bill
the whole
and Bob?
group would sit there and stare at you.
I think I was accepted a little easier than Mom was accepted.
Wait, was this like the worst audition ever? Because you're doing it
Mine
for your
happened
family?
in the living room at the Hallidan house. I remember it. I'm singing Sweet Talking Guy. I'm shaking like a leaf and all you guys are staring at me. I wanted to do Love Child, but Mom wouldn't let me.
Love Child.
I started school in a wonton dress that somebody threw out. I thought it was about a kid. What can I say?
So when did you find out that did you know did you get the thumbs up right away? Yeah, you passed the audition?
No. I went on that first tour as, yeah, okay, nice, but not just yet. All I know is I made it on Ed Sullivan and I was not on that record. Polly, I don't know, it was like that.
It's not a glamorous.
Yeah.
You're looking for a big glamorous movie moment and there just isn't one.
We were all sliding into home at one point. Next thing you know, there's another one right behind you. Whoa.
If you look at it historically, individually of us, okay, something with all of us turned at the age of 7. It seemed at the age of 7 for all, but everyone's got their own story about what happened when 7 years old came. But the mystery of Paul, if you don't mind me sharing, because
he was at 7.
It perplexes me to this day, because the band that was together before The Rain, the Park, and Other Things, and before the band that got dropped from Joda and Mercury Phillips in 1966, in 65 we're playing, and I'm 15, Bill's 16. And Paul's whatever, 13 or 12. Anyway, in our show, we're a cover tune band. We love him, we love him, we love him. In our show, in the middle of the show, Paul would dress in a white suit, and we called him our soul brother. Now this is 13, and we would tell the audience, our soul brother Paul is Cowsills coming out now, and Biggie Paul giving you steps, and he's got one of our guys kind of mentoring all of us, and he's giving Paul the steps, and he comes out, and his song was Mickey's Monkey, Lumdy Lumdy Lie High, and he kept the audience going, and then because we're raised with not questioning and just do what you're told, and like whatever, who's in the band now and who isn't, Paul's gone, so we get signed to Joda, we get signed to Mercury. We're a foursome. Paul's gone. We're soul brother.
He's back on the side of the stage.
He changed from a white to his working clothes. And I just waited for the opportunity. Said, wait a minute, I've tasted this. This is unfair, I guess. I don't know. But isn't that the strangest thing?
Yeah. Very, very. I like how you rolled that out because I see it. I don't know.
You're dead, but we can't ask anyone.
We don't know.
Yeah.
You just did what you were told.
Yeah,
hey,
for sure.
You're painting the fence today. Wait,
well, because Paul was specifically used. He was specifically used to amp that audience up one more notch. And
I wonder why.
And he had a white suit and he's singing Mickey's Monkey, and it's like, what
I'm kidding. Look at that guy.
Okay, so now your mom, she doesn't audition for the band.
No, she prays it never happens to her.
Well, that's what I thought. So does your dad coax her in?
No, he orders her.
He orders her.
Listen, the foursome it's not working. The foursome is dropped from Joda, has an All I Really Want to Be Is Me flop. The foursome is dropped from Mercury Phillips with 3 releases, but we meet Artie Kornfeld at that label, so things are going to really get good.
Yeah.
But we're dropped. And so look, we aren't in on these meetings. We're kids. We're going to do what we're told. But I can hear them. Hey, what's wrong with the situation? Well, we got a family group here. They look like the Beatles. Who doesn't? And it's like, well, what do we do? And I think they just did that. It blew us away. It's like,
so wait a minute. So the powers that be,
yes,
suggested it, not your dad.
No, it was our dad and probably Lenny Stogel who was going to be our manager.
And Madison Avenue, just, we can generalize, make it generic. Madison Avenue saw us coming down the street.
Here's the timing of it. So we record the Rain in the Park and other things with no label, with Artie Kornfeld producing. Jimmy Wisner arranged it. Brooks Authors at the helm. We got the team, right? But we don't have a label. We record the Rain in the Park and other things. The foursome.
The foursome.
Yes. And it's just what you hear. Okay. Now, we get out of the studio. This is when they however they did it, put Mom in. Okay. They're going to put Mom in. They got the idea. All right, this is a good song. Let's not screw this up. This time Mom's coming in. They tell us that can be another episode, our reaction to that and what we thought of Mom coming to this group. And they were correct, by the way, in retrospect. Of course they were correct. We were different immediately. But Mom was ordered in by, she didn't want to do it. She had stage fright. She did a great job. We had to go back into the studio in New York, back into A&R, and put Mom on the Rain in the Park and other things. Incredible. And
did you, Susan, did you get put into?
No, she never recorded in her life. And she's out there and she couldn't do it. So I went out there, got behind her, and I'm singing into her left ear. We're doubling the melody of the chorus. I love the flower, because I could sing high, she could sing high. So it's her and me here on that melody on the record.
Right.
And so we got her on, and she ended up being a really good person in terms of doing it and accepting it and doing the best she could under the circumstances, because she was a good singer,
And did you know that before? Did she sing around the house? Did you know she could sing?
She had an amazing voice, and we had folk music in our house. She was a huge folk fan. She brought Les Paul and Mary in. She brought the Peter Paul and Mary in. She brought Andy Williams in. She was a music fan.
Well, she in the early days, we actually sang with her. My brother Bill and I in 1959 at St. Joseph's School in Canton, Ohio, me, Bill, and Mom won a singing contest with a song called Rock and Rollin' Ocean. I don't remember it, but I'll never forget.
I don't know about this.
Rock and Rollin' Ocean.
I don't think I've ever heard this story
this way.
That one in the Wayward Wind. So
wait a minute, is this a school thing? You're little kids.
I know. I was in the 6th grade.
And you did a talent show or something?
Yes, we did. We did a talent show at the school, and me, Mom, and Bill sang a song. Because like Susan and Paul said, she's singing in the house. It wasn't like, oh, we're going to go into the music business. It's like,
no.
Well, did she have stage fright that time?
I don't know. I mean,
probably not.
You were just a little kid.
Not at a talent show.
This is at St. Joe's, who can be nervous at St. Joe's?
Very different environment. And Mom, Mom's sister could sing. I mean, there were these ladies. There's all these Irish.
Uncle Bobby.
They all could. They had a gift.
Yeah,
so, for real.
Could your dad sing?
No. Tone deaf.
No.
Literally.
No. But you can see the pattern. Mom's in, Mom's out. Paul's in, Paul's out. It's like this. What's going on?
Wait, Mom was out?
Well, what I mean is, we even did a show with the 7 people in the family.
I was in the Rogers High show.
All kids. We have about 2 or 3 examples. We did a show with the family in about 1966 at Kings Park in Newport, right below our house.
And at Rogers High School.
At Rogers, I had black boots and a yellow dress.
Where we were all there. We were all there. So Dad played with it. Bill and I are.
Oh, I see. So he was toying with it, but he wasn't committing to it yet.
Clearly, he was toying.
Never spoken to him about anything really in life, so we don't know. But we can only guess and be logical about it.
Yeah.
But
there are pictures, and Richard Dickey is also on that stage singing with a tambourine. I mean, he's playing.
Yeah.
Could he sing? Dickey. Did he have a good voice?
No.
I will tell you the difference. Well, here's the difference. Richard could sing a melody. Richard could sing a melody, but singing is different than being able to sing a melody.
He was not tone deaf, Rich, but he couldn't do a harmony, but he could hold a melody down.
He would never be able to harmonize or do anything.
Okay, so now this I have to ask you. Sorry, Paul, I'm going to come back to what you were going to say.
Oh, I'll never remember.
I'll never forget. Yeah, because I'm going to forget this if I don't jump in now. Your harmonies, the whole thing with family timbre and all of that stuff, timbre. Did you have to work at this, Susan? Did you have to work at it, Or did it
Only
completely
that
come
little bit
natural?
between 5 and 7.
But you knew it, you would always know where your part was and this was a natural thing for all of you?
I was always sure of myself because they would make sure that I would have the easiest harmony. In fact, they give me the melody a lot.
But when we would do harmony stack, Paul would just pick his harmony and it wouldn't be a melody. And then we'd stack around it.
Right.
Look, it was predetermined, okay? I mean, once Paul and Susan, once we got everybody in, the vocal stack is now what we want. So Susan, all right, I'll give you a pop quiz. Where do you think Susan ends up in the vocal stack? On top. Barry, John, on top. They have little choir boy voices, choir girl voices. They're the top of the vocal stack.
Sure.
Paul and me and Bill and Barry and John are covering all the middles and lows and low highs. So your position in the vocal stack was repetitive. Your harmony wasn't, but what you were doing in those stacks to this day is different. Although we learned to actually,
but I'm still on the top. I'm still on the top.
We learned to
in the middle.
We learned to flip people within the vocal stack. Like, what does Susan sound low? Like low. Well, that's an interesting sound. So we play with the vocal stack a lot more in Rhythm of the World. It's not just standard low, middle, high, and Susan's up and
Which,
I'm low.
by the way, okay, so let's go there. I've been listening to it, and all right, here are my favorite songs. There's 6 out of them. Okay, so
thank you for not asking us ours.
No, so Katrina, forget about it. It's making me emotional to think about it. Listening to it was very emotional. I hope
yes.
Huh?
Well, the Barry connection, of course.
Well, the Barry connection, and also and Susan being in New Orleans, but yeah, the Barry thing is heart-wrenching, and Susan and Paul don't know this, but I was a Barry and I was obsessed. And
I know
16 magazine, forget about it. And you know, John became a friend, and John did my show and stuff. But I'm sorry, he was little, and I was a Barry. But anyway, lend a hand, gorgeous. Nuclear Winter, which I think you told me last time is not about nuclear stuff. But anyway, I love it. Okay, so Rhythm of the World, which Susan, you sing the lead on that. Where does Rhythm of the World come from? Tell us what that means. What is it about?
Well, it comes out of my head, and which is located somewhere near my heart. And Rhythm of the World, to be honest with you, the original concept of it was I was sitting in a parking lot, and I was in a technology. I hate technology mode because I don't relate. I have trouble with it, et cetera, et cetera. And I was sitting there and I saw some clouds coming in, and I said to myself, you know, I don't need all this crap. I pay attention to the light outside. Now I know there is a storm coming. How do I know this? Because I am looking up in the sky. I feel, you know, so the idea was I tend to feed off the universe for my information. I don't need to go all these places. I'm going to lose my mind. So that's the original thing. And I found lyrics from it that were kind of not so perky. So I just started it in a parking lot and then put it away. Then, because there's songs that when I write, I do a thing like a solo, maybe a drifter song. Oh, this is Cowsill. So I write like that. And when they come out, I know where they're going. So rhythm, albeit wasn't even fleshed out, I knew that belonged to us because I had the melody. I can hear, and then I heard everybody, and that was that. When many years later, it came to, you know, we're going to make this record, I revisited that song with an entirely different point of view. I liked the idea. I knew what I was saying. I was pissed that day, but I was in a really good mood the next time I approached it. And it was just about, and of the obvious, you know, our planet is a wreck. We are a wreck. Let's be honest. The whole bloody thing's a mess, and it needs to pump its brakes and tune back in. That's what, you know.
She wasn't harsh about it. She says, have your fun, but.
Right. Well,
that's what I like.
Yeah. Having our fun, but be mindful, for crying out loud. You know, this is what we have.
Okay. So now you guys, was it an easy, difficult decision to decide, okay, we're going to write new music? You know, our fans want us to come out there and they want us to do this stuff. We Can Fly, and they want us to do hair, but we're going to write some new music. At what point, I know, Bob, the last time I saw you 4 years ago, you guys were already doing this. You played a bit of Katrina for me. How did that come together? How did the idea to do it come together? And how did you make it happen? Because you're in different places.
Boys,
Who's
wants to go?
who's taking
Right.
this one?
I'll take it.
All
I
right,
can
Polly,
take it.
go get him, boy.
For years and years, Susan has, and this is when Bill and Barry were alive and able. And Susan, you know, thought, man, we got to do at least one more album. There were so many different scenarios. There was one scenario where everybody write a song and bring that in, and then everybody will play on that. But that
We'll be
particular
each other's
person-
backing band.
yeah, right. And that person whose song it is will produce that song and that kind of thing. And everybody was up for it, you know, but
Yeah.
you know how it is. Life goes on, and you know, and then all of a sudden now Barry and Bill are passed away, and time's going by, and then Susan, yet again, not leaving it, brought it up to me and Bob and saying, hey, we got to get in there. We got to get in there. And Susan, Dockside, where Wish and Steve Nails, they have it's called Dockside. It's their recording studio. And, you know, Susan's dear friends with them. And they would always talk about, man, bring your family here, bring your family here. So now Susan, she's got an idea, and now she's got a place to do it. So now she's coming to me and Bob going, hey, you guys, look at there's no reason that we shouldn't be doing this and that. And, you know, and we were receptive to all that. It was just, you know, getting her done, right. Getting her done.
Yeah, right.
And so, yeah. And so it kind of started
Once once we decided it was a thing we were going to do.
When was that decision made? Like, okay, we're doing it.
Well, let me tell you.
Go ahead, Bob.
Here's what I'll take it from you. Let me take part B. So we do this summer tour.
Right.
Okay. The unique thing initially, not anymore because we're together all the time. We play all the time now. But when the first Happy Together tour came on, it put the three of us together.
Were you guys not touring as the Cowsills back then?
No, we did shows for 18 years. Okay. But on buses every single day,
right,
months in a row, and can get momentum, et cetera, and all that going.
Right.
Now, we didn't go into the first summer and go, hey, we're going to be in buses. We'll be together. Let's write. that was not the plan.
No, actually, we said we should be writing, but we're not gonna.
yeah. Right. It was to our fun.
Tour, that summer tour to this day is summer camp. And you don't like songs at summer camp. But every night, now remember this, we want to record Susan nagging us and bugging us in the years of wanting that. That's our foundation that follows us into the tour because he's not going to give up. So every night we're watching the show. At the end of every night, just before Happy Together, Harry Kaling the Turtles admonishes almost the audience to get up. You got to get up. You'll see something before the finale's coming. He's setting it up. You got to get up. And if they don't get up, you know,
he starts yelling at them.
And I don't know, whatever, who did it. We're a threesome now. That's a one-some. But one night we looked at each other and said, there is a song there. And I think one of us said, there's probably 80 songs about get up, but this, you got to get up. It just kept at us and kept at us. So one night on the bus, Paul puts down what's going to be the first verse of You Got to Get Up. He says, here, we'll do this. And because we had talked about, hey, we got to write that. And so he triggered it.
Wait, Paul, were you writing back in the day?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've always written poetry for myself. It doesn't matter if it's ever heard or seen. It's just for me.
Paul and I have a very long songwriting relationship.
So he lays it down.
Yeah. So Paul puts that down. I'm a melody guy, you know, so I grab the guitar immediately. I'm doing this melody that's going to be the melody. And what I think is going on, we're so full of creativity, it's been stifled for decades that this stuff's going to pour out. It's what's happened. Okay. So you got to get up. And I go, you got to get up. And what else do you do? Susan comes over and says, well, you do this. You gotta go. No matter how you try. I mean, we're like writing this thing and not. I mean, just it
went down
anyway,
really fast.
So that
the counterparts, Paul and I started on the lyrics, just kind of like we looked like two mad scientists that day.
Wow.
So It ended up being a summer of writing the Rhythm of the World songs
Yeah.
in hotels, backstage, on the bus,
Like
everywhere
this though.
that we could.
Wow.
Vicky, we would say we have to write tonight.
Yeah.
We call ourselves snow day people because if there's any possibility that we can get, we love our work more than anybody you know. We have
Yeah.
work ethic like mad people. But if there's one slim chance that we can get out of it, we're going to get out of it and have a blast.
Amen.
I didn't know that's where you were going.
Oh,
Well,
we're the worst. So
The
we
most
would
recent
start.
example. The most recent example.
Go ahead.
You were maybe considering moving this to the 27th. Now, you tell us three that we're not doing this tonight and we're doing it the 27th.
We're in.
It's like the teacher saying the homework's not due until next Saturday, you know? And so, you know what I mean?
So in the
That's that
writing
kind
of
funny
this
stuff.
record,
But anyway,
Yeah.
it
but
really
Paul's
is
right.
all, it's almost
hotel-
miraculous that it came out, that we got
in
it
a
done.
hotel room,
Yeah.
in a hotel room, these two lyricists and musical. Look, Paul wrote "Goodbye's Not Forever Alone." Look, everyone
we
writes
have our
melody
hands
lyrics,
in
okay?
melodies too.
But as a threesome, we learned that summer what we did, and we took it into the studio with the band we've been performing with for 18 years.
Mhm.
Line up all our records. Who's in the Cowsills? Well, there's 4 on that cover. There's 5 here. Oh, here we got 7 over here. And oh, wait a minute. Hey, he's gone. Now he's back. Look, that's our history.
Right.
So this band is the Cowsill band with our sons in it, replacing brothers, all that goes along with that.
Husbands, sons.
And so we have
Is there still one
So we got
person
the
not
song.
a Cowsill? The bass player is still
Our
not.
bass
Is,
player,
Oh yeah, Mary Lasang.
Mary Lasang, and Russ
Mary
isn't
Lasang.
exactly a Cowsill. I mean,
well, but he's a
By-
you.
he's a family member.
He's a
Yeah.
family member.
by the end of this summer that we're working together.
And
of
this
course,
is
we're
like, this
gaining
is
momentum.
pre-COVID.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
This is like,
Yes.
I'm thinking 2018 is when you sang a couple of the songs on.
That's about right when we started 17, 18, maybe.
Yeah. So finally we have songs. Okay. Now, if you're like us, if you've got songs, it is a slam dunk. It's just a matter of how, when, and where you got to record them. Okay. You just do. So in fact, sometimes you don't write songs because you don't want to deal with it. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
but
it's annoying. I find songwriting very annoying.
I find writing annoying, so I get you.
We hadn't written in so long that these things were spilling out of us.
Yeah.
And everyone's saying, well, where's Susan? She only has one song. I go, it's the Cowsills, man. You know, she's our Neil Young. She's plenty of solo albums. You get plenty of Susan over there.
But and also if you listen to Rhythm of the World, you're going to hear Paul, Susan, and Bob singing verses of songs. It's like
Absolutely,
it's kind of a
I
little Fleetwood
did.
Mackie that way, just because
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not
that's
singing all
plenty
the
of
leads.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Right.
Is there ever an issue with that, with who's going to sing the lead on
Not
this?
in
Do you-
our lives. The
No.
only people who ever bitch about anything about that are other people.
You know what? You know what's interesting about that? You have to experience to understand it. The song kind of told us who should sing it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Paul
But
sings-
seriously,
that's
Bob,
a
to
Paul song.
Vicky's
You can call it
point,
a Paul
though.
song. That's a Bob song.
Yeah, but to Vicky's point, we do within bands, other bands, I've been in other bands that it
Mhm.
can be a thing.
Mhm.
We have zero egos involved with each other and what we do. I don't give a damn if Paul says something. If we're all doing a show, okay, look, we just did the Moon River show. Okay, well, I need one of the Cowsills to introduce this portion of the show. We're not all going to go, well, and then if the other, oh, why'd they pick Paul? You know, it's like it never occurs to us. Or why is Bob doing that? It's like, no.
We're
And so
more
the
of the
only-
kind like pick Paul.
Yeah.
The only time we ever, oh, wow, how do you feel about not, it's like, how do I feel about what? I hadn't thought about it. Let me review. I
Okay.
feel nothing. It's like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Back to how. Go
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah,
interesting. though.
By the way,
Correct.
Lynn Orman says Rhythm of the World should be a world anthem. And I'm not reading the comments, I'm paying attention, but Nick Guzman is on and sends his love to all.
Nicholas,
And
hi, buddy.
we love Nick.
Hey,
Love
Nick,
you, Nick.
dude, congratulations. Wait, congratulations on winning Brian Wilson picking your version of his song, Nicholas Guzman. Okay, let's go back to the thing.
Okay, let's go
Cool.
back to the thing. It's
Yeah.
huge.
Eventually, we have 11 songs. all done. It was so cool. And then
Wait, you have them all done pre-COVID?
in the summer,
Yeah.
You have them all
went on
done.
a writing spree.
You
We
haven't
wrote
recorded
song
them
after
yet,
song
though.
Yeah,
after
no,
song.
we even recorded
Have
You've
it.
not
even
recorded
recorded them.
We haven't recorded them. We don't even think of recording them. We're
Oh,
in
no,
a-
you haven't. Wait, Susan's saying yes, Bob's saying
Before
no.
COVID is what I was saying. We did record them before
Yes.
COVID is what I said.
Okay.
I'm still on the bus that summer with 11 songs.
I
in
know,
it.
but she asked if we recorded before COVID, so I said yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So yeah, luckily, and we'll tell you about that. But anyway, we got these songs. And now
Yeah.
as soon as you have songs, great. Everyone gets their head turned correctly. And Susan can say, well, when do we go to the studio? And now you're saying, I don't know, let's figure it out. Okay. So I didn't come up with it. Who came up with Pledge Music? Was that Susan?
I
To
did
fund it,
crowd
to-
fundraisers.
And you are all
crowd
living
raising.
in completely different parts of the country,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And I was
Always
telling I was letting the boys know that there's a new thing that you can raise money and you don't have to pay it back, and they get a record, and people want to make records with you. It was weird concept to swallow for a while, but they
It
understood and saw that it really is a thing. And we went ahead and did that. And then our company that we chose went belly up on us.
We had reached our goal at Pledge Music, which was
Wait, explain this to me. You
It was
get
fun.
money pledged, you don't have to pay it back, so it's not like a GoFundMe. So how
Correct.
exactly does that work? How does that work?
It works because you pay it back this way. The people that are donating to your
Incentives.
effort are ordering a signed CD, a T-shirt, a poster,
Right.
A
stamp
house
from them.
concert.
Provide that to them for their contribution.
To
I
be
see.
backstage at a concert.
Right.
So it's
gotcha.
not completely free. They are getting
Right.
it. They get a copy of the CD. They get, that's just a given. They
Right.
get, if they want to be executive producers and have their name, all kinds of things were offered.
All kinds
Right,
of
right.
stuff. Susan still has a Seattle house concert to do. That kind of-
That
Oh,
Paul will
really?
be doing
Really?
with me.
So
Okay.
what happens? Paul, you want to take it from Pledge? We're in Pledge Music. You want to do this segment?
Sure. What happens is all of a sudden there is no money, and Pledge Music is not happening, and we are freaking out.
Wait, now what
All the
happened to
people-
all the money that the people gave before they went
Pledge
belly up?
Music has it and is
It's
going
gone.
belly up with it.
Yeah, so that is all happening as we speak. And now we had a couple of executive producer slots in there that you could buy for 10 grand. And our friend now, we didn't really know of a friend then, a gentleman named Rock Positano, who is a podiatrist. He's a foot doctor.
In New
We
York.
met him, in New York, and he
runs the
became our
main- yeah.
executive producer. And so we called Rock and we said, Rock, these guys have gone AWOL, they're belly up,
God.
and what are we going to do? And Rock goes, we're going to move forward. We're going to make this. And he said, hey, why don't we just move on from the pledge thing? These people haven't lost their money yet. So why don't we just do that? But we had 300 people pledge their music from their hearts to us, right? But he said, why don't we just forget about that and we'll just do this? And we said, no, if you're okay with this, that we want to keep it the way it is and make all these pledges that came through to make them happening at the end of all of this. And he said, carry on. And so he was able to do that, and we got it all recorded. And we're in the process right now of sending out all those pledges. These
Finally, after 2
Yes.
years of
Yeah.
COVID.
Okay, so wait,
Right.
so how do you record? Where do you go to actually physically record it? You're in New Orleans, you're in.
Okay, so we go to Dockside Studios, which is outside of Lafayette, Louisiana, right up the road from Russ and I,
Okay.
in Maurice,
All seven of
Louisiana.
us.
Huh?
All 7 of us.
Yeah, all 7 of us, the whole band, because at Dockside Studios in Maurice, Louisiana, run by the lovely Stephen Wishnails, you move in and make records.
Wow.
So you move in, we're there for 2 weeks. We're in our pajamas. We wake up, coffee, toast, and scuffle up to the studio in our
I
fuzzy
love it.
slippers.
Oh, I
It was
hope somebody
awesome.
was shooting video during
Oh, we have plenty. We have
Yeah.
plenty of
Yeah,
plenty. And it
we wish
is
we
one of the
had
most,
more.
it's one of the most unique ways to make a record, man. It
Wow.
is, I can't even explain
So-
it. It's wonderful.
To bring it up to really just to get Rock up to where we're at it. Okay. Rock standing on Gull Rock Island in Newport, Rhode Island, staring at the white steeple up there on Trinity Church. And he gets this lightning bolt that he needs to get a hold of us. He doesn't know what we're going through at all. with
On the pledge
or
music
anything.
thing, yeah.
I see.
Yep. He says to his partner, I got to get a hold of the Cowsills. And he does. And that's an interesting story. But he from that thought, he is still and will be our executive producer for all of our projects. And he's a believer. He's in it to win it. And this pledge music was just a bump in the road to
And
that
so
guy.
all the
And,
folks who are getting this project at the end really owe a big thank you to Rock Positano, because he made sure that it was not for naught.
Okay, and so did he make, so all the people that contributed with the company that went belly up, he's making good on, I assume.
Right, they're
Yep.
getting
They're
everything they invested.
So he's
All
paying
in.
double
Those
money.
Wow.
He paid double money.
Wow.
He
Doxa.
invested with us. He finished the pledge music out because we said we want to stick with pledge, because he said, hey, I just want to make this record with you. Give those people back their money. We said, no, they're invested. And he went, okay, I'll do the end of it. He paid the end of it and the whole thing went south. So he paid the end of it, then repaid to make the whole bloody record.
Wow.
He's an angel.
Yeah.
And he's more than a foot doctor. He owns the leading podiatry institution in Manhattan.
That's
Okay,
another
wait,
whole
let's
day.
give him a plug again. What's his name?
Dr. Rock Positano.
Well, that sounds like a podiatrist.
And he
must
also
go
has
to.
a book out. He's a very interesting creature. It's called Dining with Joe. What is it, guys? Joe DiMaggio, his
Yes.
Dinner with Joe. Rock's a trip. And a
Now, is
wonderful
he
man.
as invested in you? Was he a fan? Like a kid fan? Is he our age?
He's our
Yeah,
age.
He's Susan's age.
But
Yeah.
what I think that
He's a
Mr.
colleague.
Dr. Positano does is that he invests his things into art. He's done other projects before. We are not his first musical project, but we are his first musical project of this nature. And we've just become a team, a total team. He's the best. He's just
We have a hit album, so you know.
yeah, we have a hit album, and he is everything to do with that.
Okay, so now how do you make that happen? So you don't have a label behind you. You're doing this way. Is it just because you have these gazillions of fans and they're going to buy your product? Is that how you have a hit record? How does it happen?
Hit record? I don't
You
know.
write songs.
You were
Here's
naive.
what, we're not trying to have a hit record. We're just trying to, Bob, tell her when she's won.
Well, I just want to say, we were naive about pledge music funding, all of that stuff. Okay,
Right.
that collapses. We're past that. We don't care about that anymore. But we have a project. We have
Right.
11 songs. We have Dockside now via Susan's connections there and her history there. She's recorded there. We went to Dockside before COVID. We spent the year, I think 17, 18, going to Dockside 2 weeks at a time, 1 week at a time. I mean, we didn't live there for 6 months, but we kept going in and out,
I see.
working on this. The 7 of us and our engineer, Justin Tockett, the 8 of us would walk into the studio at 11 a.m. every morning and walk out of that thing at 7 at night. And only at 7 at night did any of us realize what we were going to do that day and how it was going to sound.
Yeah,
It was just on the fly.
So fun. So
One
fun.
part leads to another part.
We did
It
not
was so fun.
pre-production,
We-
if you will.
Right.
It was awesome.
And then we got the physical part done
Mhm.
and COVID hit. That's good news and bad news, of course. COVID's going to hit and put the brakes on us and everybody else in the world as we
You're
go.
finished though.
But-
You've recorded the whole thing.
We are finished with the physical recording. Yeah, we have everything done and it hit and that was beautiful. And then we were naive. We thought we were going to mix it with Frank Filippetti, who Rock put us in touch with. Frank's a great mixer. Frank Filippetti is in Connecticut though, by
And
way
it's
of New York,
COVID, so
actually.
now.
And we had this vision of going to a studio. We're going to mix Rhythm of the World. Yeah. Well, no, as we know what happened, no one's going anywhere.
Right.
And it took 8 months. It took 8 months to do it. But during the shutdown, for 8 months, we mixed Rhythm of the World remotely with Frank Filippetti from his studio in Connecticut and our homes where we were by sending it back and forth. It was very
Do you all have like
tedious.
studios in your homes that you can do all this?
Yeah, it's called your headphone. Okay.
Yeah, no studio.
I have a studio right here.
Well, no, because we're mixing. So when you get a mix, it's not you can hear what's missing in the mix or what needs to come up or down. And these are the things you do with for 8 months. You deal with it. Frank's putting the EQ.
So what are you doing, Bob?
he's
You
the
guys you're
magician.
writing notes? Are you talking?
Yes,
are you doing
absolutely.
FaceTimes? What you doing?
I
all this?
actually, to be honest with you, for me, it was kind of traumatic for me because I am a kinetic learner. I cannot do spatial reality in a room with people to begin with. So I actually tried to mix my own record via the internet one time and absolutely could not do it, like physically. So I had to bow out of the whole process, which broke my heart. And it's a thing I live with to the Russ and I both. But the boys did amazing work. They got it done. I could never have done it. It's just
So Frank,
And did everything turn out the way you guys imagined?
more
Did
so.
the mix?
Yeah,
You
I mean,
didn't
better.
suffer for the fact that it was COVID and you were doing it remotely.
I will
It's
tell you
not.
that I suffered only 2 things that I would have done something if I had been participating, but suffer very low grade. So yes, there are a couple of moves that if I had been involved, I
Still too
would have
much
done a little
staging
thing.
on rhythm,
But,
things like that.
the bridge of rhythm, I would have dialed
You
back
can-
the
phasing,
effect
I
a
know.
little bit.
Honestly, yeah.
It's
And
beautiful.
honestly, even if we were to have been in person and you get it all done and it's pressed and there's nothing more you can do, you're going to hear some things that
Oh,
you
Oh, please.
could
I'm a
have
writer. I
ever-
want to go to every bookstore with a Sharpie and change a couple words.
Right.
Yeah, of course. Oh,
That's- so
It's
that's just
funny you say
natural.
that. One time, Paul, after that, I knew we were done, but I took out a piece of paper and I labeled it, if I could mix this thing one more time.
Oh my
And I
God.
went through each song and I had moves on you could do it forever. You could
Yeah.
do it
yes,
forever.
yes, yes.
forever.
It was tedious, that's true. But we're in a shutdown. It was the perfect atmosphere to focus on your record, to get these mixes from Frank, to listen to it, dissect it,
For
slice it,
you.
dice it, get back to him. Get back to him could be 14 comments, and go back and forth and back and
Look,
forth.
I'm
for
actually
18
getting
months.
aggravated talking about it.
Well, so Susan, what were you doing during the shutdown? What were you doing?
Oh, no, I don't want to talk about that. We got her mixed. That's all.
Okay.
I had no desire to talk about let's talk about me.
well,
'cause
no.
Susan,
That's
I'm
great.
just like
No.
aggravated by it. Like, I was like, okay, so then it got mixed and it's great. Moving right along.
Okay, so how do you now market
I
it,
wanted
get
to
it
say
out
one
there?
thing to you,
Yeah.
Vicki, because you talk about, being a kid with the Cowsills and that connection that's made. Vicki Peterson, you know her well.
Yes.
She saw us on Ed Sullivan and went, wait a minute.
I'm gonna marry that guy. Yeah.
The Steve, the Dockside Studios, ironically, the guy who owns it, his first concert in the 7th grade in Thibodaux, Louisiana, was the Cowsills.
Oh, I
So
love
when he
this.
met me, really, to be fair, he started the tribal cry about this record. I might have done it just to shut Steven up, frankly. But it's funny because so many kids' lives took paths. Steven ended up being a studio owner because he saw that I just think it's neat. I just like
It's
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that made me not be aggravated about mixing anymore. Go ahead.
Okay, good.
It's so, and it came out so beautifully. So whatever.
It's okay. So now you have this.
We have
Where
it.
you're mid-COVID, you've got this record finished. What do you do with it? What happens?
You wait.
You sit on it.
you start searching. You start searching for the path.
Home.
The path is crazy right now for our brains, and the paths that we knew, those paths aren't there anymore. It's a brand new topography of the landscape. And, we're just working through that, honestly. And it's going to take some time, there's going to be a
So
little.
how did you do it? Because it's out.
Well,
and
here's
it's
what
a
happened.
hit.
I know.
Yeah.
And what happened was this. Did we all have a meeting and say, let's go get a record label? Not really. Because, you can go right to your consumer today. You know what I mean? So
Right.
record label enamored because they're going to take too much. They're going to want too much, all of it.
Right.
But a record company did come to us, Omnivore. Okay.
Wow.
So since Omnivore came to us.
How did they know?
Because they were interested in other product that we had been putting out, Global, the Cocaine Drain, and people know about us. And
Yes,
they
of course.
approached us in terms of kind of
Did they know that this record existed?
Not at the time. they were interested in, and still are. And actually, we found a home. So that's later, though, because Rhythm of the World did surface, and they realized, stop the presses. That was a good idea. We can do this later. We're going to do Rhythm of the World. And we had the only decision we really had to make was to go with Omnivore for this. And we decided to, let's put a label on this thing. You know, we put out 2 albums, Cocaine Brain and Global, didn't get a label, didn't look for a label, weren't really searching for one passionately, and just put it out with a shingle on the internet, you know. We didn't want to do that again. And we had the Billy Benefit concert album too. That's internet only, you know what I mean? So when Omnivore came to us, we thought, let's go. We found a home, and they are wonderful and understand us. We understand them, actually, you know. We wanted to put everything out. They want to, let's stretch everything out here. So Rhythm of the World, and with them comes what they can do for a record and what we can do. We've been doing interviews for 3 months. We did 48 morning radio
They sure did.
interviews in a 2-week span once.
Wow.
We have a week coming up on Sirius XM 60s Gold. It's called Cowsills Week soon, in the middle of the month or something.
Fabulous.
And we always, and reviews, they put it out. You get reviews if you with a label. So Rhythm of the World has really excellent reviews out there, hanging on the internet for all to read forever. And it's been a very positive experience. How do you get to #1 when you're us? We'll keep you posted. Maybe we'll visit again in a year, because there's,
You know, what I got.
Paul shows it's different, you know.
But the thing is that, you know, Omnivore, we were able to go with Omnivore because, you know what, we know that the 3 of us are going to do most of the work on this album. To get this album where it needs to be, we need to be in front of people, and it's going to be our drive and our tenacity and our never give up. What is the Latin word for that? It's a non-deferere, some DEFICERE.
You and little guy.
Yes, that's Latin. And we know that. So Omnivore is a great match for us because we can talk right to Brad Rosenberg, who's the president, you know, and it was perfect for us. We have a lot to do. I actually
had history with them, with the Continental. They knew they're known good people, and that was nice for the boys.
Yes.
Their best attribute is that they listen to us as we listen to them.
Right.
As a teammate, everything's great right now. Everything's great. The team members are great, and we're in the middle of what you're talking about. You
know, and we're about done with the low-hanging fruit and the PR, and now we have to step up to the next level, which is marketing.
No, this is the first day of stepping up with you, Vic. There you go.
Yeah, no, I mean in the overall plan here, you know, and
the 48 radio mornings, you know.
Well, Lynn Orman also says that Cheryl Paluski cares so deeply about the project she puts out.
Oh gosh, yes, Cheryl, all of them over there. They are
Brad's partner.
Yes, Brad's partner, Cheryl. Yeah, they were great. They were great. And they listened to us. So, you know, they wanted to do something and we didn't want it to happen that way. And they immediately said, we're with you guys. Because I think when we talk, people go, hey, these guys actually sound like they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
We've been around a long time.
Because in reverse, we wanted something we thought to happen a certain way. Like say, hey, we're old, let's get this stuff out. And they said, whoa, you got a lot of stuff here. Slow down. Let's have a 2-year plan. Don't anyone be in a rush. We're in our 70s, dude. That's okay. You're okay.
So what? Okay, so I know you had all those a cappella songs of your hits.
Oh,
what's also coming out?
Okay,
so
all right.
We come to Omnivore with our projects, and the a cappella thing was actually, if to be candid, the a cappella experience triggered a lot. Okay, and this was Wish Nail's idea from Omnivore. The Cowsills should do an a cappella, right? Oh, really? Why? You know, but we have it, and we presented it to Omnivore. We thought we'd have a double CD, double album, but they said no. So the a cappella CD, album, and digital download streaming will be released the Black Friday of next Thanksgiving. Okay?
And a puppet show to go with of our favorite.
They thought it was good enough to stand alone and not be a part of the Rhythm of the World release. The Rhythm of the World CD is coming out vinyl April 15th on Record Store Day.
People were asking about how they can get. Okay, so now what's the best way that people can buy the music? Is it going to your website? What's the best place for people to go to buy it?
It's everywhere.
It
It can
is
go
everywhere. I
anywhere.
mean,
It really is.
Amazon.
It can
Everyone is
go
now-
But
directly to
isn't something-
Omnivore and get
but I
it.
was going to say, isn't something better for you guys as far as your piece of the, because, you know,
Yeah, you want to
Spotify-
come up to my house and get one out of my house and give me the money. That's cool too.
Susan does porch sales every Friday.
I do. You know, Nola's very kind of neighbor friendly, and
You know, Vicki, at our age, this project right here, you know, of course we would like a payday. I mean, Jesus, I mean, who wouldn't like a payday? You know, who wouldn't like to pay a bill on what it is you love to do? You know, that whole thing. But at the same time, you know, we're in this project and it's just about to complete it, to get it done. And that has a level for us. And if we don't achieve that level, then we'll assume that, well, we gave it a good shot. You know, now if money flows from that or any of that other stuff, we haven't received that ever for everything we do. You know, we did a documentary. Well, you know, things are free. We're doing this thing with, you know, with Omnivore. It's, you know, it's just crazy. And all we have is a dream and we're just trying to complete the dream. Dollar signs have no part of that dream.
no, and
honestly.
fame and fortune. So fortune and
Yeah.
fame. It's like you're looking at people who do what we do because it's what we do. It is also a form of being together. It is all these things. And the idea of rhythm of the world and what we're putting into it, we know it's 2023. When we got on the scene, there was a finite amount of bands, labels, and listeners. We are so big anymore. The world is too big. We know. So we're not trying to get a hit record again. What we want is the opportunity to be as visual and audible to anybody who might want to hear it one last time. So it's like that. We just want all the elements to be in play for the opportunity. If it happens, it does. If it doesn't, it's fine.
Okay, so I'm being asked, I streamed it. Is there a physical CD now that people
Yes, you can buy it anywhere.
Okay, you can buy the CD. It's coming out on vinyl.
We're involved in here's what we're involved with. This is out, like we were saying, it's available. It's everywhere. You can't miss it. The challenge, of course, is how do you bring the masses to it? And that's what we're involved with right now.
Okay, so you're going to go out on a Cowsills mini, or you're doing separate dates? What's coming up for you guys?
It is all a mystery. No,
we play all year. We have gigs through the winter. We have the Happy Together during the summer. We've done a Christmas show in Branson. We hope we repeat next year for 6 weeks. The band is always working. We want to work more. We can work more. There's a little issue with the Happy Together tour in terms of, radius clauses and all kinds of contractual things with them.
Right.
That we go to Florida, so you can't go to Florida, that kind of stuff. But there's a pulse. Something's going on. Okay. We're getting a second run. Feel it. Our fans feel it. Interviewers ask us, well, what's going on that you're getting the second run? Even the UK is playing Largo Nights and Rhythm of the World on the radio over there. And we're getting great reviews. 3 days ago, one came out and said, finally, it's probably time that the Cowsills come to the UK. We think they missed us.
We're trying to get over there.
Go in April, I'll be there. So wait, okay, you do these shows. You obviously have CD, you have merch there when you're there. You're going to sign them. You're going to do all of that. You're going to do the Flower Power cruise in March. You're going to have lots of product there. You're going to do the Happy Together tour. You're going to have lots of product there. Yep. You're going to do okay. So tell us about your podcast. How did that happen? And I saw the one the most recent one with Peter Noone. I think it's the most recent one. You guys.
That's an old one.
That's our summer replacement. It's summer replacement because
summer replacement. Right.
Oh, it was because it said 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, oh, this is new.
I can explain. We started out as an audio podcast.
Yeah.
In the summer and in this recent December, we went video in September. So when we can't get to an episode, we got real busy in Branson and on the Happy.
I see.
We kind of did reruns, but the video version of a prior podcast.
I see.
We don't do that anymore because we're video now. But during the downtime, it's Rock again. Rock says, "You guys should do a podcast." And we
Yeah.
said, "Podcast?" What are you
My
talking
brothers
about?"
didn't really know what one was. It was kind of cute.
We were clueless.
Is that like a blog? It's like
I thought Zoom was a camera move. Our learning curve to Zoom to do the podcast.
Yeah. It was 3 months of Bob, Susan, and Paul just, and I call this the Peter Noone.
Yeah. Okay. I can see Susan, but not me. Anyway, it was a great suggestion. It was an immediate.
And we want our own TV show. There's never been a
immediate-
late night show with 3 hosts. Let's do
I
it.
love it. I love
That's
it.
true.
And so do you do it erratically, or you want to schedule? Do you just
Every
you
Wednesday.
stop?
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, a new episode comes out.
A new
That was one
episode
of the
comes out, but
reasons
are you
that-
doing them
Unless it was a
regularly?
snow day.
Well, that was one of the reasons we almost did.
You're breaking
because
up.
we knew we had to do it every week, and it was like, what? I'm for dinner. I'm freezing up.
Yeah, you're
Interpreting
freezing
for
to death.
Paul, he just said one of the reasons why we almost didn't do a podcast is because we knew we'd have to do it once a week. And snow day kids don't like that kind of stuff.
We don't like that.
No.
So have you taken snow days from the podcast?
Well,
hell
not
yeah.
not on our own,
No,
but
here's what it looks
to
like.
do it.
Bob will say, if it's a busy week for us to go, all right, you guys, we got to have one in by Tuesday at midnight or
Yeah.
whatever the thing is.
And we'll get her in.
Now-
We'll get it done.
Yeah.
You get it done.
And if I say that on Thursday, the 3 of us know that we're not going to do this Friday. We're not going to do this Saturday.
No.
When
You're
does it have to
doing
be on Tuesday? Well, we'll do it Monday.
That's right.
Anyway,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been doing this a long time, booking. Who does the booking? Who makes the phone call?
I do.
Paul just put his head down. Everybody, look, Paradise does, but the follow-up and all the advancing, everybody does it. Bob has
No.
his
Who
hand
does
in it.
the podcast booking?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
Yeah.
you meant band.
The group? You mean the group or the podcast?
The podcast.
Bob. And I bring in names too.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
In fact, you don't know this right now, but there's somebody lurking near you that's going to be capturing your contact information Rolodex to get to me, because your guests are awesome.
Thank you.
I'm
You know-
joking. I'm joking.
No,
But it's hard.
It's
To us,
booking.
the big challenge is booking, yes, and finding contact information.
Well,
That's not easy.
you know, if you are I'm a true fan of everybody that I invite to be on the show. So it's not hard work there's no work at the content. I haven't had one prepared question for you guys. We're just having a conversation. You
Right.
guys know how that's what you do. You just love what you do. You love the people you
Yeah,
invite, and then
And that
just
is the fun
flows.
thing about the podcast. The fun thing is that we get to be together every week.
Yeah,
We know we're
really
going to
like
be
it.
communicating, and
we
it's
have
beautiful.
no guests sometimes. We don't have a guest every week. We
Yeah.
mostly have
So if
guests
you
'cause
don't
they're
have a
so
guest, do you have an agenda? Do you say, okay, we're gonna, or do you just go?
We tell
for it?
stories.
Yeah.
We tell stories.
We have a schematic,
yeah.
we have segments, we have gripes, we have a gripe segment,
No politics, no religion.
Yeah,
That's,
nothing.
that's our rule. If
nothing
you're going to come
negative.
on and talk about it, don't come on.
Nothing heavy,
Hey.
nothing negative.
And the no politics thing came into a real good kind of type of navigation when we booked John Hall from Orleans, who we did not know was a congressman for 4 years. But anyway, it was funny to avoid that in the interview kind of, but there's always so much to talk about.
But it
with
went
the
well.
guests.
There's
It did.
always so much to talk about.
And what we learned from our podcast is absolutely everybody has a great story, it seems.
Yes.
Even if your
In fact,
audience-
we should have Vicki on
introduce
our
people.
podcast. We
I know,
should.
but
We
that-
should have you
Let's
come
do
on.
it.
I would
It's
love
been
it.
fun.
Somebody just asked, are you guys going to co-author a book about your story? Do you
Hell
you'll
no,
ever-
will you knock it
No.
off? No, I don't want.
I'm out of liquids.
I don't want. I know.
No.
All right, I'm going to here's the thing. Bob's done my show a few times. He's done my living room. He has never not sang. This is heartbreaking for me
All
to
right.
have all three of you
Wow,
here.
wow.
Bob's going to do a little something, but
I
to not have
cannot
you all
believe
sing.
you're going to make me and Paul listen to Bob.
No, all right, but listen, here's the thing. Bob said to me, well, we could cancel today and do it on the 27th because we'll be
I was
all
looking for a snow
together.
day there.
But what
No,
but you
If
almost
you
got a
wanted
snow
music,
day.
you should have done that.
Well, okay, but no, come on, look at this conversation. we got.
Everybody spends a little time on the broken road.
Oh, yeah, he's not that.
But I've been on it so
It's
long,
stopping.
I'm calling it home. And if that doesn't speak to you, try and open your heart. I know you
Paul
see what
left.
you can do. Everybody,
Paul.
lend a hand to the people with the broken plan. Roll the window down and turn if you can understand. Can you love your fellow man?
Nice, Bob. Very good job.
Thank you.
How was
Thank you
the
for
mix?
giving
Was
us.
it- Could you hear the guitar? I mean,
So,
Oh.
all right. So I'm going to be in touch, and maybe on the 27th, you guys will pop on with
Yeah,
me.
I
and
knew
do
she
three
was
songs.
double dipping.
And do
I could tell.
3 songs. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. I'm not promising anything. I'm going to ask, but you can do it or not. But I thank you so much.
That might be an excursion day.
Thank you so much
Thank you,
for
Vic.
doing this. I'm
Appreciate
such
it.
a fan and just thrilled to know you all. And I wish you massive success. I'm going to be putting all the links in the liner notes so people can easily find the music.
Thank you so
And-
much, Vicki.
hey, and
Love
in
to all of you.
Vegas, maybe we'll just grab the phone and during the show, just put it there. You know, you can do a
Who
piece.
knows?
Show.
Okay, we can talk about that.
Oh
I'm-
my
Yeah, we'll
God.
figure it
What
out.
have
I'm
you
game.
done? I hear the postman.
We'll see you in
calling. I love
Vegas.
you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.